Once the game of English gentlemen and of the British people, it's very visibly Indian in modern times and very now much a game of color. But it was not always like that. Often, many people who do not know the history behind it ask, why is the Indian demographic so visible in modern cricket games? Getting into the discussion further, in-depth circumstances will soon arise. Within India, it's actually the only national game. Despite the ancient culture and heritage of the South Asian subcontinent, there are native games that have been played there for thousands of years. Yet the English game of cricket is preferred in modern times. The game itself can be quite difficult to play properly, requiring plenty of space for all players, good grounds for the players as well, and expensive proper equipment. If people were to look at the Indian nature of cricket, they would notice a few things besides the circumstances. A good number of Indian players are average to below average in terms of skill, with a few exceptional players on the team to help win a game or turn around a bad situation if they need to. Most Indians are too poor actually to put on protective gear even to play the game safely. Many Indian youths actually use a few broken sticks as wickets, a larger stick for a bat, and a rubber ball to be in place of an actual cricket ball. Pitch conditions rarely matter because of the nature of the Indian subcontinent. A good number of the youth play because it's all they can do. So why is the sport such a passion within the country? When the British control the South Asian continent, even then for most of their time ruling modern India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, cricket wasn't a national sport or game played by most of the population that it is today. Another fact is that the British never wanted their game to be played by the Indians. It was viewed as a game for British people only, not for the Indians who were the servants and slaves with English masters and mistresses. But this would later become a key reason to the original growth and interest within the game for the Indian subcontinent. With the British controlling India, there was not much pride in being Indian or Indian culture to an extent. Some of the princes and khans who were loyal to Britain, yet had semi-autonomous freedom, decided to begin playing the game as a sort of gaining prestige to separating themselves from which the princes and khans and people that the British downright ruled directly and ruthlessly. Originally as an aspect of revenge against the British, the upper classes of the Indian elite people and former royalty began to play the game, and to this day, upper-class Indians, Pakistanis, Bengalis, and Sri Lankans still play the game. And to this day, most British still don't really like the fact that the game has so much of a South Asian face now. Not only for the elite, it also proved to be popular. From the earliest times in modern Mumbai, the game also proved to be popular and fun to watch. Indian teams of Farsi and Hindu backgrounds played together against their colonial overlords and against each other, winning and losing games. The revenue from these said matches helped to spur growth in Mumbai, but also reinforce the class system of traditional Indian society. It's also important to mention that in terms of modern games played in India, there's no real alternate sport. Hockey and football are also played, but when compared to cricket, it's nothing on a regional or national level. In recent times, the technological advances in the South Asian continent helped to spread the game's popularity even further. Television helped the most. As an example is in 1989 in India, there were 30 million homes with access to a television to watch cricket. Around the same time, there was a shift in the power of cricket. Traditionally, England and former colony Australia were the main strengths in cricket, but India took over as the main power behind the cricket game. In 2019, there was over 160 million homes with access to a television to watch cricket matches. Even in further years, that number rose steadily higher even more. No longer for the elites of English or Indian society, all sorts of people within the subcontinent play now. In India, the game is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but according to some analysts, they predict the game's popularity might decline somewhat in more urban areas as more and more Indian youths gain access to other forms of sport and not just cricket. In more rural areas, the appeal of cricket will remain as it is. Even with all of this, cricket in the South Asian continent will remain for many years to come.